In 3-5, we're going to talk about what segment or what would represent the distance between a point and a line. And it would be very helpful if we all drew relatively the same thing. Okay? If we all drew something different, that would be kind of difficult for me to describe what happens with that distance as the year progresses. And as you see it right there, it's been said that the shortest distance between 2 points is obviously then going to be a straight line. And what we're going to use is perpendiculars, because I think you can agree with me that if I had to get from that point to that line, that is not the shortest distance. Okay, there is a way that it could be done with less, and obviously that's not the shortest distance either, and I hope it's very obvious that you're not going to go that way. Okay. But as you look at it, we should all get pretty close to the same thing. Okay. And I don't even need you to sit there with a protractor or a ruler in measuring this stuff. I just want you to have the general idea. And I hope you agree that, and notice it is actually going to form a perpendicular with a line. In years past, people have tried to form a perpendicular with a point, and that doesn't work so well. Don't try and form a perpendicular with a point. Okay? Do it with the other line. And I make mine dashed, and technically you don't have to, but the reason I do that is then it separates it from the stuff that was already there. Okay? And so that's why I make it a dashed line. And as the year progresses, they'll pretty much be dashed the rest of the year, at least if I'm making them. Okay? So I think you can agree that that would be the quickest way to get there. So what I would like you to do is try those two right now on your own. And I would like them to be dashed, if you would please. And dash that line or segment that would represent the distance between these points on that. So these two on the left go together, and the two on the right go together, the dot and the line. So give it a shot. And I would say as I walked around, I pretty much got the somewhat desired result. Most of you got the one on the right correct. No big deal. Obviously you knew it wasn't, it wasn't that one, it wasn't that one. Again, it wasn't going that way, because that just makes no sense. And most of you put in a pretty good line there, pretty much right about like that. And I would strongly recommend, if you did not put that right angle in there, that you do that. Because then that's showing that you know that should be the shortest, because it's perpendicular. Now, what I saw over on this other one, obviously much more difficult, is a lot of you drawing that in. Is that a right angle? No, so is that the shortest? Unfortunately, no, but then you're saying, well, how do you make it a right angle? I can't go up there either. That's worse. And you're right, it is. But it is a line, correct? Okay. And what does that little arrow mean at the end? That it goes on? Yeah, indefinitely. So obviously extending it up this way towards the top of the smartboard is not going to help any, but extending it down this way might help. Okay? And you just do the best you can. And you don't necessarily have to make that dashed either, because that's not the answer. But the reason I made that dashed is so that, again, I could see the original still. All right? So if you made it solid, that's fine. And then I think it's a little bit easier to see. When I'm at the smartboard, it's kind of hard to see. Well, that's not too bad. That's pretty good, right? That would be the distance right there. And again, the reason that, and let's say yours was just a little off from that. Maybe you put it right there and put a right angle. That's fine. I want it, obviously this, no. Okay? But if you're within reason, that's fine. And the whole idea is so that if I start talking about these distances, we're all looking at the same thing. And we all understand where, in general, it would be. Okay? Now, at this point, normally people are doing pretty good. They only understand, oh, I can extend the lines, I got to make a right angle. They're doing good. And then I throw a little bit different problem at them, and they start having some difficulties. Because, let's face it, pictures get harder and harder as you go along. So here it's saying draw that dashed line that would represent the distance between C and AB. So do you agree there's more information here than I need? There's more stuff. And I want to get from C is the dot to AB, correct? And if it's ever part of a figure like that, you can always extend it if necessary. Okay? Now, do you believe that from C, the segment from C to A, is that the distance? Is that the one we would want to draw? No. So is C to A really helping me here? No, it's just getting more stuff in the way, isn't it? So that's one of those things that if you could cover that up with your mind or scribble it out and say you're not helping. How about C to B? Is that actually the distance? No, you're all shaking your head. No, how do you know? Because it's not hitting line AB at a right angle, so you know that's not right. And so what I strongly recommend you do is just focus on what you need. All I need is point C and line AB. You don't need those other lines in there to see where this is. And I think most of us know that basically that's where it would be. And then in some problems, watch out, they might tell you to label that point. Like they might say, label the point where it hits the line D or something like that. And if it said that, all you would do is you'd go in there and say, that point right there, that's D. You know, it doesn't say that here, but it could. Okay. So any questions so far? Okay, here's where a lot of people, I think, really started getting confused. They tried to make the right angle at the point. Now could you see maybe somebody trying to do that? Yeah, now that makes more sense than it did earlier, right? But remember, that's why I have you show the point, show the line, and focus only on that. Okay? And here we go. The picture is getting a little bit more complicated. It says name the segment whose length represents the distance between the following points and lines. We'll do one together. What I'm looking for is the actual segment. These directions are basically telling you it's there already. You just have to tell me what its name is. Okay? And so it's saying get from A to BC, this first one here. So let's find A. All right, there it is. And this one up here is BC, correct? Again, I'm just doing that so it really highlights what I want. Okay? So which one represents the distance? Well, I could go from A and I could go this way, correct? Will the two lines eventually hit? Will line BC and my line that I'm going here, the dashed line, will they eventually hit? They will, won't they? But will they hit at a right angle? So then that is not our answer, is it? Well, really, do you agree A only really has one more option? And that's to go this way, right? Do those meet the way that they are supposed to? Yes. So that distance already been drawn for you. All you have to do is say what its name is, and I'd say AB is probably the best way to do that. And the directions actually use the word segment, so you just go ahead and say, well, there it is. It's AB. It's already drawn. Okay. So why don't you go ahead and try B and C right now on your own. All right, let's see how you did here. From D to AB. So here's D. AB is way over here. We just used that as our answer, so that's why I knew where that was. So is it this one? Is it DA? No, it's not, is it? Well, do you agree DC would eventually hit that line, right? But definitely not at a right angle like it's supposed to, which leaves me only one option, which is this last one. There's that right angle, so it is. Is it okay to say ED? In this case, is it all right? It's the same segment, isn't it? It's fine. It's not a ray, you know. It's fine. There we go. And C to AD. Well, going this way, it's never going to hit, is it? If I go the other way, maybe, but going that way, it's never even going to hit the line. How about this one? Does that hit the way it's supposed to? Yes, it does. If you go right on down, that one hits the way it's supposed to. Does this one over here? Maybe there's two answers. No, it doesn't. So it's only CF. And if we are going from one point to one line, there better only be one answer. Okay? Any questions?